To create a histogram in Google Sheets, I know some of you watched videos and they're very convoluted with how you go about doing this. Some of them have you put in a whole lot of equations and formulas to make the histogram, but it's actually a very simple process. There is a little tedium at the beginning, but it becomes relatively simple once you take care of the initial difficulties with typing in all of your data. So I'm going to refer to question 1 on homework set 1.6. For those of you that were in class this morning, you saw me use this same example to create the histogram. But it's referring to the number of siblings, and you're given a box of data on that question. And what we tried to do previously was we just listed the possible number of siblings 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we counted up and we listed the relative frequency. That was not working for us. We were getting weird looking graphs. So I played with it a little bit last night when I came home, and I did finally figure it out. The easiest thing to do is to list every single data point, and I've done that down this first column here that I've labeled number of siblings, and I've just typed in each individual value in its own particular cell on the Google Sheet chart. So to do the histogram, highlight number of siblings, go all the way down to the end of the data, and once we've done that, we're going to click on insert chart, and it actually defaulted to a histogram. Now the histogram that we have, okay, visually it's fine. However, there's a couple of things that we need to address that don't work out for what we're doing. This question said to use single value grouping, and if you notice our horizontal axis, we have 0.00, 0.75, 1.5. We don't deal with fractions of a sibling, although I'm sure some of you would like to if you could. I'm speaking from experience as well. But we don't have fractions of a sibling, so we need to do some adjustments on our chart. If you go over to Customize, and you can select Histogram, it's the second option down, and you get this thing here called the bucket size. Well, the buckets are the individual blue bars in the histogram. Now, since we're doing single value grouping and our numbers are 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4, it makes sense for our bucket size to be 1. So we're going to have 1, 2, 3, and 4 across our axis. So if we set that to 1, we get a much better looking graph. It still has one minor error that I have yet to figure out how to tweak, but I'm not going to put you guys in a position where you need to invest in a somewhat expensive statistical software package like SPSS or R or Minitab. This is going to be fine for our class. So you can see along the horizontal axis, it still has a range. If single value grouping, the value should be directly underneath the center of the bin or the bucket that it's representing. So 0 should be in the middle of this first one, 1 should be in the middle of the second, 2 in the middle of the third, 3 in the middle of the fourth, and 4 in the middle of the fifth. So we're going to borrow some terminology from calculus, and we're going to look at left endpoints. So this first bucket, its left endpoint is 0. So this shows me the frequency of the number of people who responded saying they had 0 siblings. Then I go to the second bucket. Its left endpoint is 1. So that means that this bucket is showing me the frequency of people who responded saying they had 1 sibling. And then we can go on down the line 2, 3, and 4. As far as relative frequencies go, the graph will look exactly the same. So my advice would be ignore any question that I put on here about constructing a relative frequency histogram. Do the frequency histogram. They will be just the same. The only difference is the labels on the vertical axis. So this is the simplest and probably quickest way to create a nice histogram using Google Sheets. Again, you can play with the different values over in the right on the chart editor. You can do a lot with that. You can rename it, whatever you want to do. Again, like I said in previous video, just make it suit how you want it to look, and that is how you make a histogram using Google Sheets.